I think it's sad how many women don't understand when they have themselves in what I call a situation versus a relationship that has growth and potential. And that really, as far as what kind of relationship you have, are the primary differences between a booty call, a friends with benefits situation, and a real relationship that encompasses the primary needs in a love relationship, a relationship based on love, that is. What are those three things? To me, unless you have these components, what you have is some bullshit. So, what I'm looking for when somebody says, I have this relationship, is for there to be, of course, there has to be passion. In young people, it tends to be more sexual than anything else. That is a necessary element, as I discussed in a previous relationship, in a previous video, to getting things off the ground and a relationship really going. You have to be physically and sexually attracted to each other. That's I'm going to say it's number one, but it could be anywhere on the list. The second point is that you two have emotional intimacy. What that means is not only do you cuddle up in bed and touch, that's physical intimacy. When I talk about emotional intimacy, what I mean is you consider that man or that woman to be your very best, one of your most trusted persons in your life. Okay? You admire and respect them. You don't feel the need to hide secrets from them. You tell them everything, and there's just this easy peace between the two of you. There's no bullshit and there's no games. They know you at your worst. You know them at their worst. They also know you at their best. They know what makes you cry. They know what hurts you. They know your history. They know your future. They know your dreams. They know your pains. They know everything. And you trust them with that kind of vital information. You make yourself vulnerable to that person by giving them all this information. And because they respect you and provide intimacy back, they understand the value of having that exchange, and they cherish it. Okay, they don't use it against you. The third part of relationship that's based on love is that you have a commitment to the relationship. I mean, to me, that's kind of a duh. Each of you has to make the decision, and this is a mental one, not an emotional one. You make a mental decision that you have decided this person is your partner, and that you're going to give it your all, and that you're going to stick by their side no matter what happens. Once the two of you are on that page and you have decided that you're going to be committed to sharing your life together, then you have the basis for a strong relationship. Of course, there could be other issues that arise, as we have discussed in previous videos. There could be some communication issues. There could be somebody acting stupid down the line. They change, they get depressed, they start getting health issues, whatever. There's going to be things that impact your relationship. Don't get me wrong. It's never going to be 100% peaches and cream for the rest of your days. But if you have these three elements at the core of any relationship that you have with a man, ladies, you two can go places and you two can do things. Now, let's talk about the problem. I think one of the biggest problems that women have with these friends with benefit booty call situations is they get attached to the guy. I mean, obviously, when you really think about it, I don't know any woman, except maybe a prostitute, that will want to sleep with a guy that she can't stand, right? I mean, they in it for money, so they really don't care what you look like, what you smell like, what you say, what you do for work, what kind of future you have, what kind of passion. They don't care, as long as they get paid, okay? But if you're looking for a relationship, those things do matter to you. And obviously, if you're sleeping with this man, there has to be some element of attraction. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening. And that reality is what puts you at emotional risk for devastation. The fact that you've opened yourself up And then you have the opportunities to be laughing and joking with this man, and maybe going places with him or hanging out with him. Whatever you do, it creates a situation where you're getting more and more bonded to someone who's not getting bonded to you. This is extremely dangerous for young women who don't have the mental faculties yet, like older women do, to really divide, the sex aspect of their life from everything else. I mean, after you get older, you just really don't give a fuck. I mean, yeah, you might like him, but if you don't see him from 1 month to the next, it's no big deal. You don't care. But, the younger women will start with the calling, right? Y'all want to text dude. Oh, when am I going to see you again? Let's get together. Making up excuses. Oh, I cooked some ribs and it's too much food for me. Why don't you come over and eat some? Or, my friend's having this party. Can you come with me? You want to come? You're creating opportunities to get your friends with benefit situation in your life and to spend time with them. That means you're on a slippery path to hell. That's what that means. Once you start doing that, he knows he got you. Now, if he's a decent sort of dude, he'll remind you that you guys are just friends with benefits and not to get yourself caught up. He might even stop dealing with you. But that's not going to be the case for the majority. They just going to ride it all the way to the end till the brakes come off. And you're going to get extremely hurt because you didn't understand what was going on with yourself, let alone with this kind of situation. And, I hear from a lot of young women, they're just irate, I saw this dude I'm talking to, right? This dude I'm kicking it with. We've been talking for 6 months. We've been doing things like a couple. We this, we that, and I know he feels the same as me, blah, 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 blah. So I asked, me, I just sit there, listen to all that drag and drama and all them emotions flying around. And, I'm thinking about my grocery list and, the article I'm going to write and this client's website I need to update and that I forgot to do. And this is real. I actually just remembered that right now. But they're sitting there thinking about this kind of stuff. And they want to, they want to be mad and have an attitude because the guy is spending time with some other woman. So, or, not responding to their calls and texts and all that stuff. And I remind them, it's like, okay, well, what's the situation here? Is this, y'all a couple? You sit down and have that. We're just going to be one-on-one and our goal is to do this and that and move in together and get married and this. I mean, have we had that conversation? And then they look at you crazy, right? And they say, well, no. I'll say, okay, so what has he offered you in terms of commitment? What have you two discussed that you're doing and where this is going? Why are you spending all this time with this man and screwing him and stuff? What is it that you two are doing here? Oh, I don't know. Okay, so see, I hate to call people stupid, but that's dumb as all hell. That's dumb. How are you going to be getting yourself in a situation like that and you offering your body, mind, time, heart, and everything else, resources, to some motherfucker that you don't even know what the fuck you doing with him? That makes about as much sense as a snowball being thinking it's going to survive in hell. You know what I mean? It's like you just setting yourself up for dragon drama. You don't do that. The bottom line is when you get yourself involved in one of these friends with benefit booty call things, you have to understand your what they call it, your envelope, the envelope that you in. You have no right to ever say that he's cheated on you. He has no obligations or ties to you whatsoever. The same shit he's doing with you, he can do with 9 billion other women because he's not committed to none of y'all. He's never said he wanted to be with you. Not like that. He just want to fuck. And you want to try to turn it magically into something else because you like him. So now all of a sudden he owes you all this, time and attention and conversation and all the stuff. See, y'all got something twisted up in your heads. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because it's very important that you understand any situation when you're going into with a dude, you have to control yourself. It's not up to him to control you. It's not up to him to control the relationship. That's your job. Okay? That's your job. Now, when you got these FWBs, not only can they deal with other women, he can go back to his girlfriend and still be fucking you. The girlfriend he broke up with, the wife he broke up with. He can still do that. And you can't say shit unless you just don't want him, to deal with him anymore. Your FWB can sleep with your auntie, your sister, your best friend, your neighbor, your mama, and you can't get upset. I mean, you could get upset at them, but in the bottom line is he's community dick because he don't belong to nobody. And that's the choice you made. So you can't really get mad. I mean, you can get mad, but you don't have any right to. Let me put it that way. You do what you want to do, but everybody's going to laugh at you because it's stupid. And you can be like out, with your girls or whatever, and they'd be like, oh, dude, girl, look at that dude over there. Ain't that Mark? And you're going to look and you're going to say, yes, that is him. And they're going to be like, well, why is he with that other bitch, this and that? And you know what? You're going to have to fix your face. You're going to have to rein your feelings in because he's going to be out with another woman with his tongue all up and down her throat. And you have no right to say shit about it. Why? Because he never made a commitment to you to be anything more than occasional dick and some laughs. That's it. So, you got to really get your mind right about this kind of stuff and understand that if you enter into an FWB, what it basically means is that you decided to be a provider of free sex. Because you got a man telling you right to your face that he doesn't want what you want. He's just not interested in a commitment and he doesn't like you like that. So why would you, go into that situation knowing that could be the outcome, that you could be very, very hurt? I think a lot of it is because women like to think that they can change a man. You think mistakenly that your sex is so bomb that once he gets it, he's not going to want to let it go and you're going to have yourself a man. You think that because you do all these things for him outside of the bedroom, that you're going to, make him feel obligated to be with you. You think you're going to earn him. You think you're going to tame him. I don't know what y'all be thinking, because my thing is this. Whatever way a nigga comes at your door, the day what he is when he shows up, that's who he is. Because most people are on their best behavior in the early part, right? That's the best. If he's out the box and acting a fool from the gate, it is only going to go downhill from there. And you think that you can change that and make it better? You are tweaking. That is just so not going to happen. He's just, he might be a decent dude, don't get me wrong, but he's not interested in you like you would want him to be. So you have to make a decision. Can I handle, just having this man around on this very casual, sometimey basis where he's ripping and running with other women? I'm putting my property at risk. I'm putting my health at risk. I'm putting, if you got kids, you're putting them at risk. What are you doing? What is it that you think that you're going to get out of this relationship? That's what you need to really think about. What are the pros and cons? Through this whole series, what I'm trying to get you ladies to do is to not react to situations with men or so emotionally. You just do stuff and you don't think about why you're doing it, what it means to do it, or who told you that was the right thing to do. You just go off wild, just doing stupid shit. And then you want to have like all these problems about it afterwards. I want you to slow down. And before you do anything, I want you to sit your ass down. And if you need to, like I said earlier, pull out a piece of paper and a pencil and write the shit down. Okay, this is what the situation is. You put that at the top of the paper. And on one side you write the pros, and on one side you write the cons. And do that. You need to, you can do it mentally if you can think like that. But I think when people first start doing it in a visual form where it's actually written down is more helpful, because you can actually see it. You can edit it. You can type it up. You can review it and modify it or whatever. But those facts are still in your face. You have to think in what you're getting ready to enter into. Is this going to be different for you than it is for him? How is it going to be different? How are you going to be impacted? Do you think that these kind of things vary by age group or by life experience? I do. I think there's a very big difference in maturity level. Once women have been, like married, divorced, dated a bunch of dudes, had, these different boyfriends or whatever, you kind of get a different perspective on men. And, your desire for them is not as great. your need for them is definitely in check, and you realize that they have a lot of flaws, and it's just a matter of you just kind of waiting around to find one that has the least amount of flaws, and then you get with him. You young women still got all that fairy dust and shit in your eyes, and you thinking all these men are are fabulous and mean something good, and that's not the case. So you also have to consider that is there somebody around who is in your in your circle that would be a better choice for you to have of FWB with, if that's the path you want to take. You see what I mean? Just because a guy is offering that to you and that's what he wants doesn't mean you have to accept his offer. You can take the offer from someone that you choose. You can go and propose it to someone else if that's what you want to do. Excuse me. You just really have to understand that the motivations for entering a friends with benefits or booty call situation are often rooted in your loneliness. You lonely. You might be horny. You may be feeling desperate because you might be one of those kind of women who just feels like she's nothing unless she has a man. You might be more vulnerable because of a breakup or whatever, and you don't even realize that that's what's going on. You really think that this guy is about you and trying to build up a relationship with you. I think that a lot of times, you guys have this thing in your head where, of course, you have sexual needs, but you don't want to be looked at as being like a hoe or a slut by, quote, sleeping around. So what you do is you get with one guy and then you sleep with him. The problem with that, I understand where you're coming from, and I understand the risk of sleeping around and this and that. My thing is this: it's a double-edged sword, because yes, you decrease your risk of disease as far as what you think, but like I said, if he's still sleeping around, then what are you really decreasing? You see what I mean? You're thinking, well, I'm not sleeping around, but he still is. So whatever he's doing is still bringing it back to you. And the second point is, if you do sleep around, that you run up on somebody who you don't really like them, but they like you, and they want to get a situation going that you don't you're not really feeling dude like that. That becomes problematic too. So some of these dudes turn into absolute fools when they get rejected. They don't do the rejection very well. Another problem with these friends with benefits is that the dudes can come and go at will. So he will sleep with you for maybe a couple of weeks or whatever, and then he'll meet somebody, right? So he meets somebody he likes, so then he drops you because you were just there for convenient booty. So now he got his booty with somebody he's actually romantically interested in. If that blows up, he will be back in your face because he does not want to have what they used to call a dry spell. He's just trying to make sure that he keeps his sex life flowing the way that he wants it to. Another problem with the friends with benefits is that somebody usually catches feelings. In this situation, we're going to assume that it's you, ladies, but as I just mentioned, sometimes it's the male. I think one of the things that happens is that women are afraid to communicate what it is that they really need. Okay, so the situation that you're in, the quote situation, becomes confusing for several reasons. Now, and a lot of it's going to depend on how the FWB thing got off the ground. Now, if he is single and he calls you all the time, he texts you, he wants to be around you and bring you places with him and stuff like that, even though it may have started off with both of you saying you weren't looking for a relationship necessarily, just wanted to have fun or whatever, that would be something to check with him about again, because his words said one thing, but his actions are saying something else. FWBs and booty calls, the primary contact is related to getting together to screw. you know. So somebody who wants to bring you around to family barbecues, and his frat's having this thing here, and his job is having this thing there, and bowling with him and his best friend and his best friend's wife, and all this kind of stuff. See, that adds confusion. And you really need to sit him down and say, look, I know we started off saying that this is all we wanted and that we really weren't interested in a serious dating relationship, but from what I'm seeing, it seems like you've kind of changed your mind. Is that what you're trying to communicate to me, and you want to see how I feel or what's going on? Ask him. Don't be afraid. The second aspect of that is, if you were the one that initiated that I just want to be friends stuff, he may have gone along with it because he wanted to be, in your world, so to speak. But if you decide after spending some time with him that, he's pretty cool and maybe it won't be such a bad thing, then you need to be woman enough to say, I know that's what I said, but, now that I've got to know you, I think you're like a fabulous person, and I really would like for us to be more, in a more serious relationship. What do you think? Just put it out there and see what he has to say. I mean, he may be, have just been waiting for a sign that you were on his page, or he may say, well, no, I don't really want that. I'm cool with things the way they are. So then you have a decision to make if you want to continue with things as they are, or, dump him and start with somebody else. The third aspect of that is, if he comes in the gate saying he just wants, FWB, booty call, whatever, and you said the same thing, don't you dare come around later thinking that, he should change his mind. He said that's all he wanted. You agreed to that's all you was going to provide. The chances of something else jumping off with a dude who has that mindset from the gate, and his words and behaviors are matching that, that's all you're going to get from him. Now, if that doesn't meet your needs anymore, you tired, you done with the FWB, it served its purpose, you ready for something else, you healed from your breakup, whatever's your situation, now you can move on from him. And it's not really like a breakup. You just say, well, I'm not going to do this no more. And then, of course, they might have a fit because they like having the pussy, but get it somewhere else. Get out of my face. Bye. And then it's over. That's it. What I caution you to do, though, and I see this happening way too much, you get in an FWB booty call and you decide that you want to keep the dude around, so your ass turns up pregnant. What did you do that for? And I'm not saying he doesn't have any responsibility, because he does. Because especially in a situation where it's just an FWB, that motherfucker should have been strapped up from his chin to his toes to make sure nothing happened like that. Because even though he never said he wanted a situation like that. So what the fuck you doing screwing this woman in a situation where you could make a fucking baby with her? You're dumb. And ladies, you're dumb too for, going along with it. Just two dummies making a baby. That's why I advocate abortion so much. Bottom line is, these types of relationships can be very risky for women who are not strong emotionally. I do not advocate for them in situations like that. But again, it requires that you have a knowledge of self and acceptance of who and what you are emotionally. Don't try to fit yourself into a round hole when you're a square or a triangle. That's never going to work. You're going to end up very hurt. So accept who and what you are and hold out for that. Because, whether you get into these situations because you're horny, because you're lonely, or because you're desperate to have somebody, and you thinking that, you can manipulate this situation into being what you want it to be and get him to change and all this old stuff, what you're going to have to understand is what you're going to end up with is an emotionally unsatisfying, uncommitted, sex-based relationship. That's what you're going to have. There will be none of the things I talked about at the beginning. Emotional intimacy. Oh yeah, he'll tell you a lot of stories and stuff, superficial shit, like he would tell somebody he met at a bar, and you're thinking that it means something, but he may be telling you some shit, but it's not really anything of depth. It's stories. Okay. You will also be missing the commitment, which is the key component to a relationship that differentiates it between FWB and booty calls. Okay, there's no commitment there. They can do the same thing they do with you with 200 other women at any time they please, and there's not shit you can say about it. So don't be calling, writing me, and being mad because the nigga did this and the nigga did that and the nigga cheated this and that. If you haven't had that conversation with him where you two are one-on-one and you have a plan for your future, don't just assume shit, because that's a lot of women. Well, we spent all this time together and I thought, he was treating me this. All that means nothing if you haven't had like an adult conversation and made a verbal agreement and decisions that you're going to apply to your lives and your relationship. If you have not done that, then I suggest you get busy doing it now. I don't care if you've been with the motherfucker for 2 years. The bottom line is you don't know where you're going, how you going to get there, or what the end goal is. You just drifted along like a tumbleweed with this nigga. That just makes no damn sense. You're supposed to be a grown woman. Handle your business. And then, of course, the sexual passion, that must be there. Like some of the ladies were talking about on the older man video. If you have a dude and you're just not attracted to him for whatever reason, you could stay with him, I guess, if you feel like that's what you need to do. But if you don't have passion where you want to kiss and hug and touch and rub on and be all up under your man, then what is the benefit? I don't understand that. I wouldn't want to be in a situation like that. I want to think about a motherfucker and get a big old Kool-Aid smile on my face. And if that component isn't there, then the relationship to me is unrewarding and unfulfilling. And I don't want any parts of it. But that's just me. So those are my thoughts on these whole booty call friends with benefits things. And I don't really think that they benefit you if your goal is to be in a committed relationship and to have a husband and a family and all these things that you guys say you want. Then you're deviating onto some path that's just going to take you to emotional death and destruction, because you're going to get attached to some motherfucker who's not going to get attached to you. That's the risk you're taking. If you're willing to take it, of course, go ahead, you're wrong. But just be mindful of what you're getting yourself in for, what you're getting into, and what you're in for with this situation, and how it could very well blow up in your face. All right? My name is Deborah Cooper. I am the advice columnist on survivingdating.com and askheartbeat.com. We got a whole new series of relationship mistakes that women make that we will be addressing the entire month of September and probably some into October as well. All right, any ideas you have, just email them to the email address on the slide, and I will be happy to add them to the agenda for upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys very soon.